Welcome to today's Explainer. I'm so glad you're here with us. Have you ever sent a super urgent text message, seen that little read receipt pop up, and then nothing? Just absolute silence? Or maybe you're staring at a frozen loading bar on your screen when you desperately need a page to refresh. If you take that low-level modern anxiety and multiply it by 1,000, well, you start to get close to what we're looking at today. We are walking through a really profound daily reflection. It's called the persistence of humble faith. Finding hope when God feels silent. I really want to invite you to settle in with me for this one because we're going to navigate those incredibly difficult seasons when our most earnest, desperate prayers seem to just hit a solid brick wall. We're talking about those moments when you're searching for an answer, looking for just a tiny sliver of hope, and literally all you get back is a deafening silence. Okay, let's dive into this. What do you actually do when God is silent? It's a heavy, agonizing question, isn't it? You pour your heart out. You ask for help in your most vulnerable state. You wait, and nothing happens. There's this profound, almost suffocating tension in that waiting period. Psychologically speaking, when an immediate response doesn't come, our human instinct is to interpret that void as outright rejection. The temptation to just pack up your faith and walk away, it's absolutely overwhelming. But the source material we're exploring today, it doesn't shy away from this painful reality. No cheap platitudes here. Instead, it offers a powerful, tested roadmap for how to navigate that exact tension without losing your mind or your faith. Section 1. A Mother's Desperate Plea. The Canaanite Woman in Matthew 15. So, to really get a handle on how to navigate this silence, our text brings us to a striking historical narrative. We're introduced to a Canaanite woman who comes to Jesus absolutely desperate for her daughter to be healed. And this brilliantly illustrates the emotional roller coaster of unanswered prayer. This isn't just some dusty old historical account. It's a raw, agonizing picture of human desperation that crosses massive societal boundaries. We've got a mother at the absolute end of her rope. And to grasp the weight of this, you really have to understand the cultural context here. She's a Canaanite, a marginalized outsider, approaching a revered Jewish rabbi. She literally had no societal right to be there, but her sheer love for her child pushes her past all the protocols. Let's walk through this encounter. Minute 1, she approaches with a desperate cry for mercy, risking total public humiliation. But then, minute 2 hits. Jesus' silence. At first, he doesn't answer her a single word. Imagine the extreme agitation, the pit in her stomach in that moment. Did he not hear? Does he not care? Then, minute 3, the silence turns into outright resistance. The disciples, the guys supposed to be the gatekeepers of grace, actually urge Jesus to send her away. She's not just ignored, she's actively rejected by the inner circle. Yet minute 4 brings a radical pivot, humble persistence. Anyone else would have run away in shame. Instead, she pushes through the stigma, steps closer, and kneels before him. And finally, minute 5, miraculous healing. Because she pushed through the silence and the active resistance rather than walking away, her daughter's life is forever changed. Section 2. Faith that keeps going, trusting through the delays. Our first major takeaway here is that true faith means continuing to trust even when things get incredibly difficult, the answer is delayed, and you are so tempted to just walk away. So the crucial point is, delays are not always denials. True faith isn't just about believing when the skies are clear and the answers pop up instantly. This is such a vital distinction to grasp, but man, is it hard to live out. When we face silence, our human instinct, especially wired by today's culture of instant gratification, is to interpret a delay as a hard no. But the text suggests something deeply counterintuitive. It posits that silence might actually mean God is doing something deeper beneath the surface. In that agonizing waiting period, you might actually be undergoing a profound transformation. It's like a stress test for your soul. Your faith is being tested, your trust is being refined in the fire of waiting, and you're being drawn out of a transactional mindset into a genuinely closer, more resilient relationship. The delay itself has a profound, intentional purpose. Section 3. Trusting in God's mercy. The posture of true faith. Now we're moving to our second lesson. It's not just the fact that she persisted, but specifically the humble posture of her persistence that matters so much. It's one thing to acknowledge that this mother kept going, but our source text draws a massive distinction about how she kept going. It wasn't just blind stubbornness. Her posture made all the difference in the world. You see, there's a massive psychological and spiritual gap between entitlement and trust. Let's look at entitlement. That's demanding an answer. It's an attitude that is so prevalent today. We think, hey, I did the right things, I asked nicely, so I am owed an immediate response. It treats God like a vending machine, right? Insert prayer, extract miracle. Trust, on the other hand, is completely different. Trust is a deep-seated confidence in his goodness, regardless of the immediate outcome. The Canaanite woman's faith wasn't demanding. She didn't march up waving a list of her rights. Her persistence was rooted entirely in her absolute trust of Jesus' mercy. She knew exactly who she was talking to, and she trusted his character completely, even when his initial silence and the disciples' rejection were incredibly painful to navigate in the moment. This dynamic brings us to a really beautiful metaphor highlighted in the text, the crumb. During their exchange, Jesus makes a culturally complex statement about the children's bread, and she responds with incredible mental agility and profound wisdom. She says basically that even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. Now wait, it's easy to misunderstand this. She is not debasing herself or showing low self-esteem. Actually, scratch that, it's the exact opposite. She is massively elevating Jesus. She's acknowledging her position but firmly declaring that his power is so immense, so overflowing that even the leftovers, literally just a microscopic crumb of his mercy, is more than enough to conquer her massive need. She doesn't need him to exhaust his resources. She firmly believes that just the smallest provision from him contains immense, life-altering power. It's a breathtaking display of confidence that really reframes how we should view our own requests. Because of that unbelievable posture, we reach a stunning conclusion. I want to slow down here for a second and let the sheer magnitude of this response truly land with you. Listen to this. Then Jesus said to her, "Woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted." And her daughter was healed at that moment. Just imagine the physical weight lifting off her shoulders in that exact second. All the anxiety, the public humiliation, the terrifying silence of minutes 1 and 2, it just completely dissolves. Jesus doesn't just heal her daughter. He openly and publicly praises her great faith. He sees right past the cultural boundaries, straight into her humility. He honors her unyielding trust in his goodness, and he grants her request. The painful delay is finally over. The crushing silence is broken by a miracle. Section 4. How to live it out. Applying the lessons today. Let's move to and see how this builds, pivoting from this historical story directly into your living room to offer some concrete application. Understanding the history is fascinating, for sure, but how do you actually do this in your own life? Well, it starts with a conscious decision. You have to refuse to let the silence stop your prayers. When you don't see immediate answers, honestly, the easiest thing to do is to shut down and stop talking. But keeping that line of communication open is absolutely vital. And when discouragement inevitably tries to build a thick wall between you and your faith, you have to push through it. You push through by actively trusting that God hears you, even when the room feels completely empty. Your prayers aren't just vanishing into a void. It also requires a check on our own egos. Approaching God with humility means coming with empty hands, leaving your entitlement at the door and truly believing that He is willing and able to respond. If you can adopt the persistence and the humility of that mother, you start to realize that even a crumb of grace is more than enough to sustain you. The daily reflection boils all of this profound theology and raw human emotion down to one simple core encouragement. Keep trusting. The text includes a really beautiful prayer asking for the strength to maintain a persistent faith that absolutely refuses to give up. It's a call to keep coming back with humility and to keep believing no matter how long the delay stretches on. And that is the invitation for you today. Lean into that exact same prayer for strength to keep believing, no matter what, especially when the waiting feels impossible. So, let me ask you, where are you tempted to give up because you haven't seen an answer yet? And what would humble, persistent faith look like in that specific situation? I'm going to let those questions hang there for a moment. Let it prompt some real, honest, introspective reflection about what you are waiting for right now. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep trusting.